Okay, so for B, it says if you did not already find it, what percent would be equivalent to 3/5? We did find it in the previous problem. Use this percent to write the statement in both words and symbols. It's equivalent to 25 times 3/5 equals 15. So I have to turn over my notebook. Hopefully you do too, so that we are on problem, I think it's 18. I already forgot. Bravo. 718 Bravo, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So right here we have it. So I'm going to write right here, C portions width, because we did already find it. So I'm going to recopy it again. I know I already have it in A, but we have 60% of 25. That was not what I was trying to write. 60% of 25 equals 15, right? So this is what we wrote on A above. And the way that I can write it in words is 60% of 25, which is what I was writing just a moment ago, is 15. So that's using words. And the reason why I write it in this order is because it doesn't make sense for me to say 25 of 60% is 15. So a lot of that has to do more with our grammar than anything else, to be honest. So it does change the order of things, but we should still get the same value. So for the next one, it says on here, says, use the idea of scaling to find the following values. Write an expression for either a fraction or a decimal and then find the result. So if I go back over here to my notebook, so I can use either a fraction or a decimal for I. I'm going to go ahead and do both so you can then try it out with 2 and 3, or Roman numeral 2 and 3, or I and I. So for this one here, I have my 90%. I like to change it and reduce it right off the bat. I'm going to call it 9/10 times 25. So I'm going to do 25 over 1. This is normally the time I start to think, how can I reduce this? How can I make it smaller? So I can't make these ones smaller unless I get rid of the fraction or the denominator, and I don't want to do that. 9 and 1, I can't reduce that way. I do have a factor in common for 10 and 25, and that would be 5. So if I divide 10 by 5, I'm going to get 2. If I divide 25 by 5, I get 5. And I do this because I can divide by a giant 1 in the form of 5 over 5 at the end. I just don't like big, scary numbers. If I can do it while the numbers are still small and manageable, that helps me at the end when they're still small and manageable. So I have 9 times 5, which is 45, over 2 times 1, which is 2. Now I have a division problem. I have 45 divided by 2. Well, I know 40 divided by 2 is 20. And if I have $5 and I'm going to split it with you, we each get $2.50. So that's my answer right here using fractions. If I'm a decimal, I think that decimals are delightful, is what I said in 5th period today. Then I'm going to have 9/10 times 25. When I have it like that, I now need to multiply my fraction by my whole number. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right over here. I have 25 times 9/10. I ignore my decimal. The shadow. I ignore my decimal until the very end. Let's see if the light helps a little, maybe. So I have 9 times 5, which is 45. I have 9 times 2, which is 18, plus 4, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then I have 1 decimal right here, 1 decimal spot, so I'm going to move it 1 spot to the left. So I end up with the same answer of 22 and, ooh, I didn't give myself a whole lot of room, 5/10. Hopefully you gave yourself more room than I did. So if I am a fraction fanatic, I'm going to want to do this one. If I think decimals are dreamy, I'm going to pick this one right here. And I want you to try to do I and I on your own. So you're going to just do one or the other. You don't need to do both. Fractions or decimals. Go ahead and stop the video now. Okay, let's check and see if you're right. Let's see if there's any oopses. My experience is students will make a mistake in converting that 8%. So 8% means out of 100. So I have 8 over 100 times 75 over 1. Okay, this is where I started to lose some kids in some of the classes. You know, I think I'm going to move it down a little more so it doesn't get confusing. Give me just a sec here. Because with that 2, I'm worried that it will. 8 over 100 times 75 over 1. So some students, when I saw them working, some of them saw 25 in common right here, which I'll be honest with you, I didn't even see the first time. And I think that's actually, it's pretty clever because that knocks down the numbers fast. So if I have $1 and I'm thinking of how many quarters are in it, that would be 4. How many quarters are in 75 cents? That would be 3. And I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it just because I'm always nervous that I do so much work and I confuse you guys. And I don't want to do that. But now I see I can also reduce right here as well. So I have a 4 in common. So I can divide by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now I have 2 over 1 times 3 over 1. So 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Excuse me. Now I have a division problem. 6 divided by 1 equals 6. Again, if I am I think decimals are delightful. I'm going to move it. I think I'm going to do it over here. So I do need to be careful because this 8% needs to be 8/100ths, not 8/10ths. Okay, so I have 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 more. Now I'm going to move my decimal 1 2 spots to the left. Oh look, I got 6 as well. Let's see here, where can I fit this fella in? There we go, I fit him in. All right, so for 25% of 144, so this time let's do the decimal first. So I have 25/100ths times 144. Maybe right here. 144 times 25. Don't forget your decimal. So I'll be honest with you, for this particular problem, I think this is my least favorite, to be truthful, because I think it's more work than the other method. And so that's also another nice thing, is once you start recognizing patterns, you can pick and choose so that you don't have to work so hard. Because you know Mrs. Fox is all about not working hard like that. So we have 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20 again. Plus 2 is 22. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 2 more is 7. I do mine a little different. I use my placeholder as an X. That helps my brain. You do you. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is still 8. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to add these together. I get 0. 0 plus 1. I get 16. 1. I end up with 36. And then I move my decimal 2 spots to the right because I have 1, 2. And so I end up with a total of 36. Now, the reason why I said I like fractions, so I have 25%. Well, 25% is 25 out of 100, or 1/4 times 144 over 1. I can reduce right now. Let's just go ahead and do that. So if I can reduce, I can do 4. I like doing 2 easier in my head because I don't have to regroup. So I'm going to divide by 2 over 2 in this manner. So I have 2 right here. Oh, fiddlesticks. I have 2 right here because 4 divided by 2 is 2. I'm going to divide 144 by 2. I see 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then I have 72. So now I have 72 divided by 2. I'm going to go ahead and write 72 divided by 2 right now, because I have 1 times 72, 2 times 1. Is that 2? So I know that half of 70 is 35. Half of 2 is 1. So that makes 36. I could have made it 36 over 1, but at that point, yeah, I like it better that way. At least that's how my brain works, anywho. Okay? Don't forget to do your homework.